Bandwidth for MacBreak is brought to you by CacheFly at CACHEFLY.com.
Welcome back to MacBreak Studio. My name is Mark Spencer, and once again we are very fortunate to have with us Billy Fox, esteemed Hollywood editor who has a long history of credits, most recently of which is Trader with Don Cheadle. And we talked in a previous episode about how Billy uses motion to create some effects for his films, or some temporary effects. And in fact, he uses all of Final Cut Studio to do different things. Today we're going to look at another situation where Billy used motion, which is something very near and dear to my heart. So I'm excited to see what we've got going on today.
Hi, Mark.
How you doing?
Good.
Good.
I think everyone's experienced a situation where a director comments that he just absolutely hates the shot that he shot. And in Trader, we had one of these shots.
And of course, it was shot on some other location in some other place with a bunch of crew that would cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to do over again.
And couldn't do it. So I say to him, it was the end of a day, and his name is Jeffrey, and I said, Jeffrey, so if you could reshoot it, what would you do? And he said, well, if we could reshoot it, I would start down on some grass and I would tilt up to reveal.
So we should show us what we're starting with here in terms of, so we can have a little context. So we have this is the shot here that we're talking about?
Yes, and we have Guy Pearce over on one side, and people are crossing, and Don Cheadle is about to cross into the frame in a moment.
Okay, so we're hanging a long time on this kind of static shot.
And there's Don Cheadle, and he stops, and he starts to walk. And that is basically where I then cut to the close-up coverage. So he did not like that wide establishing shots.
Okay.
So he says, yeah, I'd like to tilt up and reveal. And I said, okay, Jeffrey, it's time for you to go home tonight. And I sat down with motion. And I basically,
So wait a minute. You just basically told him that you were going to be able to solve this problem that he had in so many words. You said, don't worry about it, go home, that you're going to create a shot out of nothing.
Well, I didn't know what I was going to be able to create. So I just said, time to quit for tonight.
Okay.
And I didn't want to lead him on.
You didn't commit yourself.
No, I did not.
But you had an idea
myself.
Maybe there was something you could do.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I looked at the shot and realized that the only grass I have is this section down in here.
They didn't have any other footage of this scene.
Nope.
There was nothing else.
This is all
so
I had.
This little, and he wanted to start lower in the grass, like pointed at the grass and then tilt up.
Right.
Okay.
So I took this shot across into motion, and I took just small little sections of the grass and created a section that we call Grass World. Grass
World. So wait, this is the grass you had?
This is a small section, just like 10% or even less. And I just patchworked it all together. There's probably about 40 different pieces that were all just there with a little camera motion on it, which was nice.
Okay.
And that's all it really did.
So this is kind of like the clone tool in Photoshop you might be familiar with, just creating copies. And but you did it all in motion.
Did it all in motion.
You just cut pieces and put it together.
Right.
And there's a little bit of repetition, but this is not going to be the final shot, right?
The thing is, if you're looking at Grass World, you do see the flaws in it. But it's an interesting thing when it's married, and we're going to show you that in a second. When it's married together and there's a camera move on it, for some miraculous reason, you don't see it.
Well, you're not really paying attention to it so much then, right?
So basically, I took the Grass World, placed it here, and the original shot and placed it here and made a seamless edge right here.
Okay.
And then started with motion close up inside the grass, and then just slowly tilted up like it was a real camera move.
Okay.
And then pulled back so there's a nice move on it, and revealed what would be the original shot.
So what you're saying is what we're looking at in motion here is not the whole shot. There's more outside of the visible area of the canvas.
That is correct.
That is there for us to move to.
That is correct.
Okay.
Was it Shift V?
Yeah, in fact, we can show that right there. Okay, so there's the rest of the shot that we don't see through the camera right now.
Here's the camera, and this is the area that it's going to tilt up to reveal.
Okay, so what does that look like when you play it? And it's completely seamless. I mean, it looks like the camera's actually doing that.
Absolutely.
It looks like the camera's tilting up from a grassy field to reveal, and it reveals just as Don Cheadle's walking into the shot.
And again, this was an example of why to do something like this solves so many issues, one of which is when you handed this off to a visual effects company to do the real thing, the timing is exactly. I wanted Don walking out it stops just as the camera stops.
So not only did you create the effect, you built the timing exactly where you wanted it to. So
Correct.
you knew what the final one, they might clean up the grass a little bit, but basically the shot's going to look exactly the same.
Correct.
In terms of the timing. Wow.
Yes.
Wow. So you saved the whole production a lot of money, because you just made this up one evening instead of there's no reshoot, there's no nothing.
Correct.
And you're just creating the shot.
Right.
Very cool. And so how does it look when you put it together then in Final Cut? Is it basically just rendering out this and dropping it in
That's
Final Cut?
all it was. Just made a QuickTime output of that, and it's basically this, which is basically what you've seen already. Now, the interesting B-side to this whole story, and actually is a good part of it, is that this scene was eventually dropped from the movie.
Huh.
So this visual effect is not, the scene is not in the movie.
The final scene is in the movie, but they didn't spend a lot of money doing some reshoot for something that didn't end up in the movie or something like that.
Well, they didn't spend any money.
Yeah. Just spent your time.
Just a little bit
Late
of my
night.
time. This was
Not too
very
bad.
easy to do. This
Yep.
took maybe about a half hour.
Wow.
It was very challenging, and it was fun to do.
Cool. So another great example of using motion in combination with editing to create effect and make your director happy.
And make your director happy.
Billy, thank you so much for coming and spending some time and showing us how you use this to do things that are done in a professional environment that we get to see up on the big screen.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you for joining us on MacBreak Studio.